What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural episode of my podcast, Lag with Docs, or also known as Life in Gaming with Docs. Episode 1, baby. And with me today, I have 3 guests. Guests because they are definitely not my friends. No, they're my friends. I'm joking. and today, I have you guys probably know him as Eric, or aka Crylorn, whatever mood he is in, whatever username he decides to go with in the game. With us, we also got Souls, our resident Aussie, yep, and Justin, or VC Braska, the friend that is also a ghost. I'm joking. Joking.
Also, resident expert of Dr. Pepper cans,
Yes.
and returning to streams on time, and always
internet
being
cars-
there when you tell a
Internet failing.
There's always a part-timer in every group.
Yes. So, with that said, a little background on all of us in case everybody is wondering. I have known Justin, or VC Braska, the longest. If you didn't know, I was in the military. I was in the United States Coast Guard for around 11 years. And Justin also was in the Coast Guard. And we met at a duty station. And we just hit it off. We shared a passion and a love for gaming and stuff like that. And that just that was it. That was kind of like all it took. It started with Skyrim and Halo.
Yeah, Skyrim for sure.
Back in the day.
Because we were just talking like one night, and Dee was like, "Hey, do you play Skyrim?" And I was like, I dabbled. And he was like, "Okay, well, let me tell you what I did last night. So I got this rubber band, right? And I wrapped it around my controller."
Yes.
And that's pretty much how our relationship in gaming started.
Yep, I bragged about breaking Skyrim by getting 100 sneak by putting my guy in a corner near an enemy and putting a rubber band around my joystick and controller so that he would crouch walk into the corner wall near an enemy, and I went to sleep and my sneak was 100 when I woke up. Yeah, and
it was like 2 weeks later. He's like, "I don't play this game anymore."
Yeah,
he's like, "It's boring. I can one shot a dragon with a bow and arrow. I'm not playing anymore."
Yeah. And I would also steal from the vendor, save the game, kill him, and then reset my game, and then his stock would all be back, and I would do it over and over and over until I had all the money and material.
I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing with that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, we've known each other for like over 10 years, right?
Yeah, I think we're approaching 12. I want to say
Yeah,
2012 is when I got transferred there. So
yeah, so we've known each other a while. And then next up would be Eric, and I met Eric through Destiny.
Destiny. Yep.
Yeah.
Destiny group find.
Yes.
No,
No.
not the group finder. It was the FGN group on
Yeah,
Facebook.
FGN.
yeah, FGN.
Yep.
And that was back in D1, right? Destiny 1.
That's before D1.
No, it was
And
D1.
you've been
No,
carrying
it's
him ever since.
Carrying him
Yep,
ever since. Yeah.
Vault of Glass with me and Caleb.
Yeah.
I believe was the first.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And so that was
I
what?
think it was
Carrying Eric since 2014.
Yeah, 20.
20.
Let's see, 2015, 2016, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 2015, 2016.
I don't know. Whenever Destiny came out. So
Yeah.
A few months after that.
Yeah. We've known each other a while, quite some time,
Yeah.
and we've just kind of like we've all kind of gamed since, right? Like we've all just
Yep.
It may have started with Destiny, but we've progressed and played other games. And the newest member to the group, the newest, even though we've known him years now, which is wild to think about,
Yep.
is Souls. And
My
Souls,
real name's Matt,
yeah, Matt. I like to call him Souls just because it sounds. I like
but
it.
everyone calls me Souls.
Yeah, yeah.
Even people in real life want the name Souls.
Man, Souls. We kind of met, I met Souls through streaming. So if you didn't know, shameless plug. I also stream here on YouTube. Yeah, you should check it out
You'll find
sometimes.
Apex.
Yeah,
Best stream.
Yeah.
The best stream.
The best. But yeah, I was playing Apex, or I was streaming and playing Apex at the time, and Soul showed up, and yeah, he's basically been around ever since.
Said I played Destiny, and he's like, "What? Man,
Yeah, we're like, what? Oh yeah, and then we started grinding Destiny, and then I mean, several games after that. But it's been what, 2 years more,
yeah,
two and a half,
maybe 2.5 years."
yeah. So it's been a little bit. I mean, all of us have played games together. We've known each other some time. So, um, and you know, we kind of do more than just game. You know, we talk about life stuff. We share life stuff. Um, you know, we try to help each other out as far as like, you know, just being there, encouragement, doing the whole homie bro thing. You know, which is important. You know, for I think, you know, at least for guys these days, you know, to have that kind of camaraderie, sharing something in common, um, because you start to feel comfortable, you know, and you feel safe, and you know the those people are gonna understand. You're not gonna get judged or anything like that, and it just kind of creates this environment where you have a place and people to go to kind of vent, right? Which isn't all that available um, most
Super
of the time,
rare.
right?
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
super rare.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice and it's awesome. For the most part, as far as gaming goes, we got a great mix here between us, from PC gaming to PS5. That I'm sure Souls is just gonna absolutely glaze the mess out of on any episode that he's on with this podcast. No,
The PS5?
Yes, yes.
No. No, I'm a gamer. I know. You know.
Yeah. I'm kidding. And then
But
our,
if you want to compare it to Xbox, then
oh
yeah, I
god,
can tell you
oh
something.
god, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, I'm just saying that it's now called Microsoft Gaming and no longer Xbox. So you know.
True, true,
Yeah.
true,
That's-
true. Smart marketing.
Very true.
And then our resident mobile game expert Justin
Yeah.
is here too.
I hate that.
And
I
the
hate
Smite
it.
Overlord, Eric.
uh,
I seen you logging into Smite.
oh god.
Of
I would
course.
take Smite
keep up with
Overlord
it.
over Mobile Gaming Captain any day.
I mean, well, you just got to put in the work. I mean, that's all it takes. Just a little bit.
oh jeez. Oh man. But yeah, so we got you know, no, all jokes aside, Justin does play mobile games. He does play quite a bit of Switch games too. So, you know, I don't play on the Switch. Nor do I really play that much on my phone. So, you know, he brings a mobile game slash Switch perspective that I don't share. I don't know about Souls and Eric. I don't think too much with the Switch or with mobile games all that
Dabble
much.
in mobile here and there, but it's more of
The
a.
Switch.
I'm more
is
of a. I get
is a
an
banger.
itch and scratch it for a week or two, and
Yeah,
then it's. I'm like,
The,
okay,
the Switch,
that
the
was
Switch
fun.
is a great console. It's got some really crazy good exclusives on Switch.
it does. Yeah, Nintendo in general, right? Has
Nintendo,
you know, does.
Nintendo has some of the best exclusives on the market.
Yeah, yeah,
Some of the most accessible exclusives on the market too.
yeah. Um,
And I've really never been a console PC snob, and it's more about the game. Like if the game, like
Yeah.
I've had PlayStations, I've had the Xbox, I've had Nintendos, I've had PCs. You know, it's whatever is I enjoy playing. To me, more than you know what I mean, more
Yeah.
than the console.
the
So,
platform. Yeah,
I mean, I guess I would probably be considered a little more of a PC snob. Like that would be my preferred choice, but.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't. Not everything comes to the PC, so there
Yeah.
are things that, like PlayStation, you can't take away. PlayStation has amazing exclusives as well.
Right. Yeah.
The fact that now they're starting to creep into PC is pretty neat. Like, there's
Yeah.
a few
They did a
games that
massive
creeped out
deal
that
with
I still want to
Steam.
try.
Yeah.
To do that
Yeah,
exclusive
yep.
stuff, which is really good for PC.
But like I said, I've never really been the console snob. It's more about the games to me. I don't give a
Yeah.
crap what anyone plays on. If you
Yeah,
enjoy the
me
game, play the
too.
game. That's what
Yeah.
it is. And like,
Yeah,
Definitely.
graphics are cool, you know, all of that stuff is great, but it's
Yeah.
like I said, I'm gonna go back to here we go, Eric and EverQuest. Like I said, I played old school
Oh,
crappy
God, here we
stuff on
go.
crappy games. It's the gameplay. If something could
Right.
hook you and draw you in, who
No.
cares what it looks like? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what it
EverQuest
is.
is a banger though. EverQuest was an old school banger though.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
game that's gonna
like I
go
said,
down in
you
history.
wouldn't
as
have
one
World of Warcraft, you wouldn't have Skyrim, you wouldn't have a lot of these things that you have today without that. So
Hey, somebody had to walk before everyone else could run, right? So,
yep. Like I said,
Yep.
it's just it's gameplay for me
yeah,
more than anything, than consoles or graphics or anything
yeah.
like that. Like Soul says,
I
I
think
keep
a lot of
going.
people.
Might's outdated. I keep going back. Just
I reckon. I
the
reckon.
gameplay hooks
Alex
me.
the Kid and Wonder Boy came before EverQuest.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Find the
I
original
think
Wonder Boy was
honestly, a
Wonder
lot of
Boy.
people
Wonder Boy
though
was on the
these days.
Sega Master System.
I think a lot of people share that same sentiment though, Eric, that they don't really care what you play on and what games you're playing because people just want to know that you're playing games. And hey,
Yes.
have you checked out this game? Have you checked out that? And they want
Yep.
to share that experience with you. So that's
Right.
what's really cool about gaming these days.
Yeah.
I think it's cool too that's 5-10 years ago you got 15-year console war. And I think it's cool that that's becoming more of a gaming community thing. Like, who cares what you're playing? Let's just play. Like
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
what was that? Helldivers.
It was cross-platform.
Classic
changed a lot
example.
of
It
that.
was it was
Yeah.
it was locked to what was it? PlayStation.
Yeah.
And you
PlayStation
had
and
and you
PC.
had Xbox fanboys. The Halo veterans commenting on everything. They were like, "Hey, we're standing by." And you had the PlayStation dudes, "Hey, come on, let's get them in here. We're
Mhm.
requesting this help. Why are we? And it's neat to see that kind of stuff.
I'd rather have the
Yeah.
Gears of
gaming
War
now.
players than the Halo players, because the Gears of War players, at least it's something somewhat.
Right,
Of a
just
similar type of
it was these gritty
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
war gaming. That was an old
Sony-
Xbox
Sony
thing.
gave-
You know what I mean?
Right.
That was an
gave
Xbox
them-
thing.
Yeah.
And
like
PlayStation
$40
was
million
the
to
players
be
were like,
exclusives.
get them in here.
Yeah.
Get them in here. Why are we locking them out? Release it for them. Who cares?
Yep. Also, as
I can understand some stuff not wanting to go to Xbox. Sorry, because Xbox has only got 7 million consoles on the market, and PlayStation's got over 30. So I know where I would market my stuff to if I was selling a game too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Market to PC and PS5.
Definitely. Also, as a disclaimer, if you're listening, hey, this is episode 1, so it's gonna be janky.
Rail.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna.
I'm very
it's got-
sorry if I do say something that is out of context for someone,
No, it's okay. It's gonna be janky.
but
there-
I will do my very best. not
Yeah.
to.
it's gonna be janky. There might even be some technical things or volumes or whatever, right? But this is the first part, and obviously, like,
Might hear a dog bark in the background.
yeah, there'll be improvements as we go along. But I just want to throw that out there, and also, to piggyback on what you guys were saying, I was an Xbox guy. I mean, I started off with the Nintendo, right, and then Super Nintendo, yada yada, up until the first Xbox came out. Got the first Xbox, played Xbox all the way through, and that was mostly because me and my brother, we split screened a lot, and we played a lot together, right? Xbox, and that's kind of why I used Xbox all the way up until I got a PC. And I'm kind of like Eric. I'm preferred PC, definitely. But if I were to play on a console now, it would be a PS5. I would want a PS5, and I would play on a PS5. Mostly, like you guys just said, the exclusives are just too good. They got great fidelity to their games, and whatnot. Great ergonomic controllers and et cetera, right? But yeah,
Yes,
it would
the
be
controllers are really good.
yeah. But that would be it. Some gaming stuff aside, real life, right? Everybody knows me as Docs or Doxology, or you'll hear a lot of these guys call me D. My actual real name is Donnie. So don't you ever call me it. You can call me Docs or D. Because it's weird. I think like 2 people call me that. My brother and like my mom. But I'll just let you know, I'm also 38 years old. I've been married. Me and my wife just celebrated our 16th year anniversary. I have
16 years.
yeah. I have 7 kids. and I live in the U.S. If you can't tell by how slow I talk and my really terrible English. Um, but yeah, and then I'm gonna throw it over to Eric and Souls and Justin to give a little insight into who they are behind the screen or behind the controller. Eric. Eric.
Don't jump so quick at it, Eric.
Okay.
Eric's gone. He's really quiet, Eric. If you're talking,
Oh Lord.
can you
Hear me
guys
now?
hear Eric?
Yes, there we
Everything
go.
good?
Okay, yes.
And
What in the world? Okay, so like I said, I'm the old man. I'm the graybeard. I started on, let's see, Atari, what, 2600 probably, I would think what it would have been. Um, I just there to, let's see, Nintendo, and then obviously to like the first PlayStation, and then I think from there, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, maybe in that range. Um, and then PC for the longest time. I really was. Like I said, I was a PC snob forever. I think until the Xbox One came out, and I was like, hey, seems cool, seems fun. I'll give it a shot. Um, Bought that, and that's when I met all these. Well, Justin and D. Played Xbox pretty much for a long while again, just because I had the group of friends, and then now it's like I said, I still have the Xbox, but it's mainly PC. It's just like I said, Xbox. I can't lie, they're falling off on on their games. Anything that you can get on them, you can get on PC now. So it's a little easier now just to go with the PC. Um,
Yeah. Are
Play
you
all the games. Like I said, I was a card gaming nerd. I was a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. Like I said, I've just been the big nerd ever since. And
hmm?
that's me.
Also?
I get suckered into buying games that I get to play for 2 or 3 days,
Jesus.
and then they hit the
Are
shelf.
we gonna drop that bomb
Yeah,
already?
Just save that for later, man. Okay.
And
Got it.
I'll pass it along to Justin.
Also, to help Eric out, because we'll inevitably talk about this at some point in the future. Eric's also a dad, so don't let him.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am that as well.
Eric's also a dad. So, um, so we got Souls. You what'd you start on, Souls?
Oh, can you go, Justin?
Okay, Justin.
He said, nope.
wow. What did I start on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think my parents. So we grew up pretty poor, and I think it was like 1986, and that was the first video game I ever played. Was a Nintendo. My uncle bought a Nintendo, 1985, 1986, and he had Mario. But like I said, we kind of grew up poor, so we didn't have the money to get one. But my mom found an Atari 2600 at a garage sale with 3 games: Pac-Man, some I think it was Adventure, and E.T. Of all the freaking games, E.T. And
That's
so that was the
amazing.
first thing I played. Yeah, and I remember trying to beat ET and not understanding why ET was so broken, and you can't get past a certain part until later as an adult. I figured out that ET is broken and you can't get past a certain part. There's a whole documentary about it that's pretty good. So that's how that's how I wasted the first few gaming years of my life, and then in a ploy for my parents to, because they didn't think me and my brother could work together, they gave each of us $50, and they didn't think that we were going to work together or pool our money, and we ended up pooling our money and bought a Nintendo, completely going against what they thought. And so that was the first console that I ever owned, was a Nintendo, so that I bought myself.
Also, your
I pretty
first
much owned
scam,
every
huh?
console. Yeah, the first time I realized my parents were wholly against me. So like And I'm also a dad too, so now coming on the other side of it, yeah, your parents are probably out to get you in some way, shape, or form. So just be aware of that.
Oh
Anyway,
boy. Oh boy.
so so I've owned pretty much every console generation since then in one iteration or another. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but I had a Genesis. I had a PlayStation and an Xbox. I had a 64. Maybe we'll get into the interesting story about how I attained my 64, but I had a 64. Um,
And by
and pretty much
64,
all the way
hey,
up.
for any Zoomer out there that's listening, because we're a little on the older as far as gaming goes. Okay, that when Justin says 64, if in case you didn't know, he's referring to a Nintendo 64. But us old folk were always referred to it by the nickname 64. We could be like, oh yeah, I got a 64. I got a 64. But it's in reference
Yeah,
to a Nintendo 64, which, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the first console that had the joystick on the controller like that? Or
No,
that's the
was
no,
first one
was it
that ever
not
had an analog stick.
no.
analog?
Yeah,
PlayStation One had analog sticks before,
Did
Yeah,
it?
pretty sure.
because PlayStation was like
Okay.
a year before Nintendo 64.
I
Pretty
forgot there was.
sure.
I thought there was something with
Mm,
this 64 that it was like
It
was
it had it
it
had
was the single analog stick in the middle of the controller,
uh,
the way you
they
held
had
the
a single,
controller.
but
yeah,
they had the 64 RAM thing or whatever it was.
What was it, 64
That
bit
they had the RAM
thing or
expansion that took
something?
your
that's
64
what
up
made
from
them a little
Okay,
bit better.
64 from 128 bit. So
gotcha.
you had that little
Okay,
expansion pack that you popped off the front and you put it in,
yeah.
and then
Bro,
I can't remember which one.
They
There
had
was
the
some.
best game that was ever.
Nintendo 64.
GoldenEye.
Just looked it up.
Yep.
Yeah, 1996
Would you,
came
would
out.
It says the Vectrix, whatever that was the first to incorporate an analog stick, but the N64 was the first major console.
So it was them. So there was the. So that PlayStation must have came after, because I
Okay.
remember the PS1 had an analog stick controller too.
Yeah, I remember that
Mhm. But
analog
when
stick
PS1
being a
first came
big
out, they
deal.
just had a regular controller.
Yeah, no, I remember that analog stick for the 64 being like, everybody was like, oh man, oh, like, it was on a controller and stuff like that.
You go back and play it now. After
No,
playing new
oh
controller.
dude, no, I've
It's
tried, I
horrible.
tried, bro. Oh my god, I went back and I tried to play one of my favorite games on 64, well, 007 GoldenEye. And then one you guys heard me talk about a bunch of times. Perfect Dark, man. I absolutely love that game on Nintendo 64. Me and my brother
Yes.
played the
Perfect
mess out
Dark.
of it, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, Perfect Dark was amazing.
Dude, I went back and I played it with my son. He got it because he has an old 64 that he repaired, and we played Perfect Dark. Oh my God, was it pain? It was so
Yeah.
much pain. The aim assist on that game was wild, bro. And back then, like, you didn't know what that was, but I played it now, and I was like, somebody could be in the general vicinity of you, like a good distance away, and my thing was already dragging. I was like, what the heck? I was like, I know where you are, and I didn't even see him on my radar, bro. Just how strong the aim assist was on that, bro. I'd go walking past, and he's like rooms over, and my character would already start to turn. I was like, good lord, man. Holy,
That's amazing.
how far have we come, man? All right. Not to
Yeah.
derail what Justin was saying, but there we go. Yeah.
No, but that's fine. I think I don't know about you guys, and maybe we'll talk about it, but I've also had a PC when I was younger, in that same time, about 95 through 99, which was the initial height of PC gaming, like the first, I would say, the first wave of PC gaming, because that's when like Doom came out.
Mm.
That's when like
Diablo.
Mech Warrior 2 came out. Uh, um, X-Wing versus
Diablo
TIE
1.
Fighter, which is one of the best. Diablo 1 came out. Yeah,
Warcraft.
all Warcraft.
Original
Yeah,
Warcraft, not
Command and
World of
Conquer.
Warcraft. Warcraft.
No, yeah, Warcraft 1 and 2 came out. So that was probably my favorite generation of gaming, because there was just so much new stuff coming out up until probably about 2018 is when maybe 2017 is when I noticed another big change of just like so much innovative stuff coming out in gaming. So I've been into gaming for a long time. As Eric said, that he found us because of a group called FGN, which is a group that I started with another friend of mine. Because we were essentially just tired of people having a bad time gaming. We were having a really hard time finding people to game with, and we were just kind of tired of the nonsense that a lot of gamers put out there, which is why we started the friendly gaming. And then it was actually like Eric said too, it was a Helldivers thing first, and then it morphed into that. But I also went to school for game design and development, and I do a little game article writing on the side, just like Donnie does. So that's me.
Mm. Well, thanks for sharing, man. And kind of like on that note a little bit, um, you know, if you've been around the stream any, you know, I started streaming, kind of in a similar way of like, not only was it therapeutic for me, in general, as a as a veteran with like PTSD and stuff like that. I mean, it's scientifically proving that gaming helps like PTSD and anxiety and stress like that. But um, you know, it was a way for me to help reach out to people and just create a place where people were seen and heard, in a way for me to get to interact with people and meet them. I mean, if I didn't do this and if I didn't game, I wouldn't have met Eric and I wouldn't have met Souls. I mean, I met Justin already, but gaming did kind of was a
That's what
common
brought us
thing that,
together.
yeah, it was
That
a
was the
common
whole
thing
thing.
we shared. And I've met a ton of amazing people through gaming. The other resident Aussie that's not in here is Ragnarok, who lives in Australia too. Again, a very, 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 very good friend of mine, which again I wouldn't have met if I didn't like streaming game. And the idea of the podcast, I know me and Justin have kind of tossed around the idea of wanting to do it. I've been streaming for almost 4 years now, which is absolutely wild to think about. Also, kind of makes me sad that I'm not bigger, but it's okay nonetheless. um, JK. um, but I've been told plenty of times on stream, and Justin's mentioned it too, that I should start a podcast and that people would listen to it, and oh my gosh, you should totally do it, yada yada yada. And um, anyways, congratulations, you got your wish. Here we are. So I hope people enjoy as we go forward. The topics are going to vary. Eric, Souls, and Justin may not be here. I'd like to do it every week. Now that I think about it, that might be a little ambitious, but that'd be something that we aim for. But we're gonna talk about everything from gaming to real life stuff. That's why it's called life and gaming. The topics, can be mature topics. So, if it's something that bothers you, or you might be a little sensitive to, hey, hit the mute button, click off. Do what you got to do. But we'll also talk about awesome stuff like gaming, and we'll also talk about real awesome stuff in life, that are W's and whatnot. But I do think it's kind of like our obligation, definitely as kind of like, man, I hate saying older people, but seasoned, mature individuals in the gaming space to share our perspectives on things gaming, as well as life, right? Because I do think that people who game carry a unique perspective when it comes to life things, because similar to like the military, and Justin can attest to this. When you're in the military, you kind of like, you all have like a common thing, right? Like, it's like we're all here, this is our common goal, right? Like we share this common thing. We're all in the military, we all got to wear a uniform, we all, this is the same mission, right? Like, we're all in the suck together, and gaming kind of does the same thing, right? Sports does the same thing, right? It takes people from everywhere, and you get together and you share something common, and because of that, it provides us and helps us sometimes have a unique perspective on real life things that can happen.
Yeah.
As well as the fact that
Something I've explained before. Oh, go ahead, D.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say something I've explained before, especially with people that don't know gaming very well, or maybe don't come from a background, or even the people that look at it like, oh, it's a kids thing. Um, Explaining to them, hey, listen, some of my best friends, they exist in a virtual space. And the reason why we're so close is because we've gone through a lot of stuff together when it comes to gaming. We've gone through, believe it or not, gaming brings people together. I don't think Eric, Souls, and some of our other friends would be as close as we are about life stuff if it wasn't for the amount of time that we spent together in Destiny, for example, doing stuff, completing objectives as a team. Um, I don't think that we'd have
Carrying you guys
such a
through the
strong
content.
friendship. There's that too. But I don't think we'd be as close
Watching
of
everyone else
friends.
get the exotic.
Oh my god.
But that's just something. And when you explain that to people about this space and what can actually take place in it, it kind of helps them understand a little more about why your friends are as close as they are, even though maybe you've only met them once or twice in real life.
Yeah. And on that note, you know, we've referenced this word space, right? Like this environment, right? And this is a great segue, and we didn't even do it on purpose. W. You know, as good as the internet and gaming can be, right? As far as like meeting people and creating those bonds and friendships and things like that, there's an ugly side, right? There's unfortunately people, man, who suck, just quite frankly, right? They're just pathetic human beings. I mean, it's a little aggressive, but I mean that's kind of like what they are at the end of the day. Um, and that's why it's important, for us to be, I think, aggressive in protecting that space, right? In making sure that environment and space that we work hard and we work hard to create, that we protect it, that we cherish it, right? Um, because there is a lot of negativity in the world, in real life, and it's also online. Um, and a great example, um, recently, um, is the Chris Tyson, Mr. Beast thing, um, with grooming and pedophilia online. Um, it comes from what is a seemingly good thing, right? With Mr. Beast and the videos and helping people and giving money away, yada yada yada, and they're playing Minecraft with people and Roblox and whatever else, right? Um, Over I don't know how long that's been going on, right? Like they've been what
A long time. I
a
think
long time,
2016.
yeah,
2016 is
a
when Mr. Beast
long
started.
yeah long time. Um, to have what happened now, with those with minors, um, and Chris Tyson and I'll call child insert word here. That starts with a P. I'm just gonna call that CP because I just don't like saying those two words together because I have kids.
No, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but with like CP involved and etc. Like I have kids that are online and play games. And that kind of behavior from people like that who are adults and old enough and know better is just freaking unacceptable, man. Like absolutely unacceptable. And the fact that this kind of behavior, it's not like this was like sneaky, like, whoa, I don't know this is going on. Like no, there was obvious, red flags this entire time, right? Um, and it's like, why doesn't that get called out, right? Why doesn't that get addressed? Is it because people don't want to call out somebody who's associated with Mr. Beast because Mr. Beast is who he is and has the clout that he does? Like I've seen a lot of things and read a lot of things where people don't want to speak out on it because they don't want to lose a potential Mr. Beast collab and all those things. And I just think that's just so ridiculous that people are willing to compromise their ethics and morals for the sake of like the potentiality of losing that opportunity or money, really what it comes down to, right? um, I just think
Yeah.
that's just unacceptable, man. It does not have a place here at all, or really just in society in general, right? But
Well, and
especially in
that's
a
really the
such a
thing is that
vulnerable,
like
vulnerable place as online, right?
It could be a
Mr.
bit of two
Beast
things.
and he has such a reach. YouTube, unlike a lot of other streaming platforms, right, has such a reach with the younger generation and a lot of influence. You look at, I have kids as well. I've got three, and the amount of influence that content creators have on just kids in general, because that is the current form of entertainment, is unbelievable. And you, as a content creator, you not saying you have to take responsibility for the actions of the people, but you do have a responsibility for those people and kind of how they represent your company. And that really just goes with any company too. Like whatever company you're with, if people know you're a part of that company, you now represent that company. You are the face of that company, even if you don't want to be. It's just the nature of the beast. So like, and no pun intended. So like that's just how it is. And I'm sorry, like if you're another company and you're worried about losing money because because you because of the possible Mr. Beast collab, that's dirty money anyway. Do you really want that?
Yeah.
That's what's going to represent your company later on. Hey, this person, this person, this person, this person worked with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, all of his stuff is now tainted because Chris was huge on his show or on his channel. Like he was a huge personality the whole
Was until he
time.
fell off a few years ago when he decided to come out
Yeah, be a woman, or
to be a woman,
pretend to be a woman.
to pretend to be a woman because
Yeah,
he's actually a dude.
yeah.
But you can't feign ignorance. You just can't feign ignorance. That's
No,
irresponsible.
no,
I,
and
I reckon what you're saying about Mr. Beast is partially to do with people not wanting to do it because of the collab, and some people being too scared to speak out because of how cancel culture works these day and age. Because they'd be like, "Oh, you're picking on him because he's trans. You're
right,
anti-transphobe." Rah, rah, rah.
right.
You know?
And people have brought up the and I've read and I agree to an extent, the energy and the response to Dr. Disrespect versus Chris Tyson, right? And how everybody was quick and they were like all over and they're disgusting loser, right? And they just dogpiled on Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, but no
like,
one's saying it about him.
immediately, right? Yeah, versus Chris Tyson, where everybody's like,
And Chris, he was messaging another man as well.
yeah,
It wasn't a girl. It was another dude.
yeah, and to kind of piggyback on that, it was people are mentioning and it's being brought up. It's folks are hesitant to criticize or come down on individuals who associate with, they call them protected communities of people. My take is I don't care what you are. I don't care what flag you fly. I don't care. You could identify as a spoon. Or you could be, I'm an alpha male. Yeah, I mean, I don't care, man. I don't care.
I don't care either. There's
You're
two
wrong.
genders, male and female.
Well,
I'm not wrong.
yeah, you're wrong. You're pathetic. It's disgusting, and you should go to
You
prison.
need to grow the fuck up.
Well, that too. But you need to be held to the highest. You need to be held to the highest form of accountability and justice.
Some of this does come back to streaming and stuff as well, with them not being able to be accountable. Because if you start holding these people accountable, then what about all the girls on TikTok and Twitch?
Well, see, but that's I think that presents a whole.
They're sitting there streaming in bikinis and showing next to nothing to minors as well, which in other senses also classes grooming a minor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
They should be classed as pedophiles as well because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's totally normalizing.
They're sitting there in a hot tub, jiggling their bits around, and do this, and I'll change my bikini. Do this, and I'll change this, and it's like, who do you think's watching it? There's no way there's men our age in there watching it. There'd be like a couple of simps. and that's about it. And the rest of them will be below 15. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's worse now. I'd say below 22 and younger, because that's really the audience that they're aiming for, right? Because those
Mm.
are especially the audience between 16 and 25, because those are the people with disposable money, right? A lot of kids between the
Mm.
ages of 16 25 still live with their parents. So they have a job and now they have disposable income.
Yeah,
So
because
that is like directly who they're aiming
yeah,
for.
an adult male is just gonna go take that money and do something real, right? Like they're gonna go and be like, hey, I'll just get an escort, or something, I mean, I'm being
Yeah.
honest, right? Like,
Yeah, no, that's the truth,
that's
though.
what'll happen, right?
But that's also partially the reason why some of this stuff probably doesn't come to light so much, because it's not probably controlled by the people, but
Yeah, and
Twitch, its platform itself, and YouTube, the platform itself, they're
right,
worth a lot of goddamn money. And if
yeah,
people stop putting their videos up there, they don't make money.
yeah,
Also,
I think
No,
I'm gonna go back to what Justin was saying, and it was like a very concerning normalization of that type of behavior, um, which I think in the grand scheme of things is the most worrisome, right?
yep.
This type of thing is starting to get normalized and almost borderline justified, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, instead of, so there's a saying, right? Like with streaming, is like, find, instead of finding uh it's like, instead of finding reasons not to stream, find reasons to stream, right? And it's kind of like this: instead of finding reasons to justify or protect this type of behavior, right? That's what everybody did. Or like, I think one of the excuses that Chris Tyson had some CP art on his wall hanging up in a Mr. Beast video, which reaches millions of people, by the way. Was, oh, everybody bought stuff from this person during that time. That doesn't mean jack crap. I'll go back to my mom's old cliche saying of like, everybody's hurting. Just because that guy jumps off the bridge, are you gonna do it too? Right? Like that. No, that's such a BS reason.
depends on what's at the bottom.
Stop it.
Just saying. Just saying.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that. Just because everybody, that's just, we gotta stop saying that that's okay, right? Like that. Oh, but
That's the very definition of normalizing.
Yeah.
That is what it is. You're saying it's okay because everybody else is doing it. No,
No.
it is 100% not okay.
No.
What Chris did, it is not okay. Even though Dr. Disrespect, I know part of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, got dismissed because it was still the fact that he was breaking a lot of promises that he had to a lot of people and showing a number of kids that it's okay to do this behavior, and it's not. Like Soul saying, like, just going up there and jiggling your bits to get money, you're normalizing that on a very public form, and it's just not appropriate. I'm not trying to say I'm conservative. You can do whatever you want in your own free time to adults.
Yes.
I don't freaking care.
Right,
Do what you want.
right.
But my kids are 9 and 12 years old. I don't need them seeing that.
Right, exactly.
Because now I'm having to do double the amount of parenting to protect them from you, and I shouldn't have to do that.
Right. And some people would say that, an argument would be like, well, keep your kids off of technology. Keeping your kids off of technology is handicapping them, because we live in an age of technology now.
How do you keep your kids off technology when they teach this shit in schools?
Well, yeah, true. But back to the technology thing. If I don't teach my child or my kid how to navigate technology, I'm handicapping them for when they're older, because they're going to get older and have no idea how to do that, because there is a very, very, very good chance that their job or whatever they get into is going to have some type of technology involved, and they need to know how to operate it, how to troubleshoot, how to navigate it, etc., etc., right? Like that's something that they need to do, right? That they're going to, this is society now, right? Like this is where we are as a populace, and as a place or whatever, right? This wasn't the case, and when we were kind of growing up, right? Like that wasn't really the deal. So but we were still pointed in directions and put in positions, right, to learn things that we were eventually going to have to engage in when we got older, right? Our parents put us in those positions, or you know tried to acclimate us, right, to those things, right? To try to help prepare us, right? And that's kind of the job now. And I would argue it's harder because technology you can't control. You know what I'm saying? My dad could control what yard I was gonna go mow, right? And what was gonna happen with that, or you know, babysitting or whatever, right? Like, or what dogs I was gonna walk for the neighbor, or whatever. You know, uh, technology and the internet is the wild wild west, right? And so yeah, it again, the normalization has to stop, and um, it starts with setting a standard, and putting those boundaries in place.
Episode 1, we're starting hot, guys. We're not holding back. We're coming in hot, so prepare your ear holes, because this is what we're doing from now on.
Yeah, and that's like I said, should be held accountable to the highest degree. Completely. Um, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm
really do.
disappointed.
Yeah, I think Mr. B, like I was saying in the beginning, there's a certain level of accountability that Jimmy needs to have for his people. I'm not saying that he's responsible for their actions, because he isn't, but for the behavior and for the presentability, I guess the front facing that he has to he needs to be more responsible.
I've just
If
been doing
you
a bit of
know,
reading about this situation, and the person that's supposed to be groomed, have been groomed, claims that nothing even ever had happened. Has tweeted out their self, nothing happened.
Oh no, they
So-
they corrected themselves.
Yeah, I bet they corrected themselves
Did
after
they?
all these people probably push shit into their brain now. But like, this person's done that, and so, how do we know what's true and what's not then?
Well, it's not even
Yeah,
that.
and
It's
that's
it's
all-
it's
that's a
not
whole
even.
It's a lot of this is this coming from this
Well-
shit Rolling Stones magazine, and they blow so much shit out of proportion. It's not funny.
No. Some of it, like that. I mean, sure you can.
Like, in what sense are they saying that they groomed him for what?
I mean, there's screenshots of like Discord messages like back and forth.
Yeah,
and
you can
yeah,
read all of them.
and
I
then-
can send you this link if you want to read.
Oh no,
it.
no, I've read it all. Trust me. And then
Like, this same person was also writing back and
Yeah.
same
But I
type
mean,
of
like,
ways and stuff, and
yeah, but
calling him Big Daddy and sexy and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
I
this
mean-
is between two guys here.
yeah, but you have an adult and then a minor. You have an
Yeah.
adult who is basically famous in clout, and an impressionable minor.
Started when he was 20, and
Yeah.
apparently he didn't know the age of this person until 2018.
That's bogus. That's I hard disagree,
Well,
because they actually
generally did you know my age until I told you?
no, but because I say that's bogus because
You're not through a message. You're not going to know.
no.
someone's age
They
straight
actually
away
met
till
in
they tell you.
person. They met in person though, so that's why
Yeah, but
I'm
not till
like,
2018.
Nah.
That's when that's when he found out the age.
and it's still continued.
I'm not trying to cover for
no,
anyone.
no,
it's
no,
still
no,
bad.
no,
Like,
no,
matter-
and it's still continued. You know what I mean? So,
Like,
but-
people should read more about the context before blowing stuff out of proportion, though. Is what I'm
mean,
trying to say.
yeah, I mean, I
Like,
guess
there's
so.
more
but
to the story. There's more to the story than obviously is going on here. And
yeah, and the more to this story is that he's still a weirdo, and
yeah,
still
of course
sick
he's a
and
weirdo.
stiff.
He's dressed as
Yeah.
a fucking girl.
Yeah, and
Like, who the fucking sorry?
I mean-
who dresses as like you're a guy? You're a born dude. The way he acted before in Mr. Beast videos, the things that he used to say, and all of us out coming out as a girl, he's a fucking hypocrite.
well, and that
He's a piece
you're
of shit.
you're a certain type of person to buy animated art of CP. I
Oh
like,
yeah, 100%.
You don't.
100%.
That
yeah.
isn't like a on a whim. Oh, you know what? I feel like commissioning this type of art. No. That doesn't just. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of take those things, and then these other things are happening, and it's just like it is very easy to connect the dots. And it's not like that's a coincidence. No, that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that he has CP art hanging up in his house, to messaging and talking to young people that you shouldn't be talking to, saying the you're saying to people that you
Wouldn't
shouldn't be
surprise
saying.
me because his wife doesn't speak to him, or his ex-wife doesn't speak to him anymore either.
Yeah, I
He's
wonder
not allowed to
why.
see
I,
he's not allowed to see the kid
yeah,
that he's got with her.
I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? So there's just too
He's probably
much.
taking pictures of his own kid.
Yeah, there's too much there to be like, oh well, man. You know, as some people are like, you know, and you said it, but they said it in a different context of like, oh, I need all the facts. No, this shit's already there. It's been there. It's just people just don't want to see it, or they ignore it, or whatever, right? They're like, oh, you know,
Or some
again,
people take it out of proportion when
well,
they
yeah, I
do
mean,
see it.
yeah,
and
sure,
don't
that
get the full context of the story.
I mean, and that can happen, right? That can happen. But you know, I'm kind of in the ballpark. Well, when it comes to kids, I don't the leeway needs to be very, 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 very small.
yeah,
Simply because of like, you know, I can definitely see somebody younger who is just starstruck by somebody who's grooming them and not understand what is happening at the time.
that
Right?
stuff happens all
Yeah,
the time.
they don't know.
So,
And then they get older, right? And they don't really think too much about it. And they get older and they look back, right? How many times have you gone back and looked at something you wrote or said when you were younger and you're like, oh my God, right? Like, Lord, like, right? You're like, oh my Lord, bro, right? That same thing can happen. You know, you can go back and look and go, oh my God, bro, what the heck, man? You know, like, this is like either, you know, in my case, like, God, dog, bro, that was cringe as all get out, right? Or be like, that was a little weird. That conversation was kind of wonky, right? Like, when you go back and revisit it, at the time it may not have seemed to be, right? But you go back and you see it and you're like, hmm, that's a little weird, right? But yeah, I'm biased. I have kids, so when it comes to kid stuff, I'm like,
oh,
I'm
100%,
almost
yeah.
like a zero tolerant, like, you know what I mean?
I'm zero tolerant.
Yeah.
Anyone should be zero tolerant for that shit.
Yeah,
If you're not zero tolerant for stuff, that stuff.
I think what you and Souls are saying though is really honestly two sides of the same coin, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
Jimmy and the whole Mr. Beast company were ignoring it until it came to light, and then they kind of pushed forward, and now we're all over it, and we're completely against it. And really, it's two sides of the same coin, right?
yeah,
Feigning ignorance and then overcompensating for the ignorance that you feign. That's
Yeah.
really
In the
what's
stuff that I was
Yeah.
reading in the interviews, there was like the pictures that are there, but there's no bad pictures or anything because it even says there's no news. Was
no,
stuff.
no. It's just pictures of conversation, you know.
Yeah.
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 But regardless, I mean, you know, stuff like that has to be held accountable. We can't
Oh, of
normalize it.
course.
And we got to stop
Well,
with
it's got to
like,
be held accountable.
Yeah.
Like it's getting held accountable. So they've got to look into it stuff.
yeah,
The reason that stuff like this unfortunately doesn't get held accountable for straight away is because there's too many idiots out there that have never had shit that happened to them and they go out and say it does.
right, yeah.
That's the
Oh,
only
that
reason
happens
is
Yeah.
because
so
people
much.
cry wolf so much on that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and because they just want to pay out from someone. That's
Yeah.
all it comes down to. So they've got to look way so hardly into this stuff to make sure it's true. Because if it's not true
Mm,
and they do all this crap, they're dragging someone's name through the mud. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Once you get
That's exactly what I
once your
was gonna
name
say.
is under that line of that doing that stuff, regardless if you did it or not, and you go through that crap, people are going to look at you forever.
yeah. I mean,
You know, and that's the whole reason that
yeah,
they're so slow at processing this stuff is because
that's true.
there's the what if this person is lying, we're going to ruin this dude's life,
Yeah,
this other guy's life.
but there's also
That also, I'm not
Like
I
if
don't-
they
I hate to
took
say
this
it.
person, some person's word for it, say, oh, he got raped, and it didn't happen, or it did happen. It's like, yeah, you can ruin people's lives with that stuff. If they
Yeah.
took that person's word for it and saying it, oh, it happened to me, and we're
Right.
just going to lock him up for it.
yeah. And
Just,
a lot of that too these days comes from a couple things, at least in my opinion it does, right? It comes from, and I'm not saying like the actions, but like how people respond in certain situations and the ways that they think they can gather attention, especially from famous people.
Mm,
That's something that I think that middle generation, the kids that are probably like 17 to that group of people, right? From 17 to about 25, the world's changed really fast for them. And there wasn't the amount of wisdom I think that we kind of have gathered because of the bad things that have happened now that those kids didn't have. So, what am I trying to say? Their parents may not have ever really taught them the things to look out for and
mm,
what was grooming because we just didn't know. So there's a
yeah,
certain amount of ignorance that they have going into those situations.
yeah.
So like it's in their mind, the internet's just kind of like this fun thing that they can do. And like I'm gonna use another person that got accused recently and their accuser retracted their statement. Wilbur Soot from Lovejoy. He was previously part of the Dream SMP. I'm sure if for those of you guys that don't know, the Dream SMP is this giant role playing Minecraft server that they used to have with like a bunch of other famous YouTube streamers. Well, Wilbur started a band, and his band started getting really big, starting to play big festivals. And this girl came out of nowhere and said that Wilbur was biting her without her consent. Later, her story changed that okay, well, she did give consent. She said it was okay, but she was screaming out that there was pain, and he just ignored her and kept biting. So that's assault. And then it came out later that okay, well, she wasn't really screaming out in pain. And then it came out, the story kept changing, and
Mm,
it's really what it comes down to is that it seems like that person just wanted to accuse him to bring him down to disrupt his fame.
mm,
It's not really fair, and it
That's
happens
that's
to
that's
a
why
lot of
they
famous
in
people.
cases like that is why they look into shit like that so
yeah.
much is and why
And
it takes so
Yeah,
long to find someone accountable for something, regardless
I
if
just
they
think that
really
comes
did
from
do it
a
or
lot
not.
of
It's just
mhm,
dumb.
a
It's just a
lot of
dumb
kids were
system.
just not raised to handle that. And like we as parents have a responsibility to temper that, right? I know D does it. I know Eric does it. I know I do it, where it's like, hey, listen, this is the way the world is.
mm,
And this is how you're going to have to combat that. You're going to have to deal with that stuff.
yeah,
It's going to come up.
yeah,
You know the
This is
world's.
how
You
you
know
have
the
to deal
system.
with
You
it.
know the system's fucked when these people can't. When these guys only spend a couple of years in jail and they're out on the streets,
yeah.
back
Well,
doing the
Yeah.
same thing, and they're doing back in there again.
I think the biggest thing is this identification of pattern, right? I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
believer in like there might be the rare example of like it was a spontaneous action, right? But I do believe that, and it happens every time, right? Anytime you see something like this, there they go and look, and guess what? There was a pattern. There was things happening that set a precedent, right? That there was a pattern, a behavioral pattern, right? And so it's easy, right? You just have to, and like Souls was kind of saying, like people show this pattern, and then people are hesitant to call it out because they don't want to blow it out of proportion. In reality, what happens is, yeah, it may not be that big of a deal, but that pattern of behavior is going to come to a head at some point, right? Like it's going to eventually result in something happening, right? And I think it's uncomfortable and it may not be fun, but I think there's a nuance in going, hey, you know, this pattern of behavior is noticeable and it has to be addressed, right? And if it's somebody in a public space or in terms of like with a lot of visibility, then that needs to happen by friends or close colleagues or whatever behind closed doors or whatever, right? And be like, hey, what's going on? Because you know we've we started to notice this pattern, right? Um,
Mhm.
and and
I, I
go
think
from
more so,
there.
Mr. Beast has even more responsibility because this is his business. This is his livelihood, and a lot of people
Mm,
rely on Mr. Beast to make money so that way they can freaking live and eat. You know what I mean? He has people
yeah,
that work underneath him,
right.
and by allowing these actions to take place, and whether you saw signs and ignored them, or you knew about it and ignored it because he's your friend. Like, you are being irresponsible to not just, you have a responsibility to not just your company, but to all the other people that work there too.
Yeah.
Like, they rely on
Right.
you to make the proper decisions so that way they can continue eating,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's in addition to what you were saying, I think that's also a responsibility that needs to happen. Is that, Jimmy needs to take a little bit more responsibility for what happened, because
He can't be
if he
really
saw the signs.
100% blamed for someone else's actions. That's like me going out and murdering
No.
someone and you
No.
guys being held
No, no,
responsible
no, no.
for it.
So I'm
No.
saying
No.
if he saw the signs, then why
Yeah.
didn't you take action soon?
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't
That,
see
and I
the
think that
signs.
falls in
Maybe he
line with
might have just
what
seen
you
the
said.
that kid come there and be like, chill. Like Mr. Beast is a cool dude, Maybe chill. We brought a dude over. Let's hang out. Like Mr. Beast does with people. And he might not have even seen the messages between these two people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you don't. I don't show everyone my phone.
That,
Do
that's
you guys show
that's
everyone your
fair.
phone
That's
and
fair.
messages?
No, no, no.
Like,
You're free. You're right.
yeah, exactly. Like there's there's so many what ifs and stuff as well. You can't just say Mr. Beast needs to be held accountable. Like that's just not fair on him.
No, that's not what
Well,
I'm
I
saying. What I'm
mean,
saying
like,
is, like, there's a certain amount of accountability that he needs to
The
have for
the
ignoring
person
the
that
signs.
wrote the messages and did the grooming needs to be held accountable,
That
not the person that
absolutely.
may have knew about it. The person that did the grooming is the person that should be held accountable and
yeah.
100% should go to jail straight away.
Yeah. Yeah.
No questions asked.
And
Go to jail.
accountability can be more than just like something tangible, right? But if you're friends with this person
Because
and you're around
everyone's
them in real life, I just that
you'd
kind
know
of
you'd know about certain things, but you wouldn't.
yeah.
You're not going to know if he's grooming someone. You don't know.
No,
what
no,
he
no.
said
Maybe
in the
not. Maybe
messages.
not. Maybe not grooming. Specifically, but you've been around.
You know how many people of those? You know how many people live with someone and
Yeah.
don't know that they're doing that stuff?
Yeah,
well?
I know, and I get that, but it's just I feel like
And that's even worse when you're living with someone. You should know
Yeah.
your partner.
I just feel like that kind of stuff eventually oozes out into the things you do. Maybe not like
You
super
can't hold that
evident.
kind of stuff
Yeah, like
secret.
it may not be
Yeah.
like straight up like just hardcore out and but that there are little things, right, that you that start to seep out, right, into like
Yeah.
your everyday actions, because it's human nature. You're really good at hiding something right away, right? It's like lying, right? Your first lie, easy. Second lie on top of that one, a little bit harder. Third lie on top of the past two, it just gets more difficult, more difficult, more difficult to contain that web of lies, right? Well, when you're hiding something like that, right, it's the same thing, right? It gets harder and harder and harder because you become more complacent in being on top of it, right? And when that happens, those doors start to open, right? They start to creak open, and things start to come out, right? Maybe not the whole thing, maybe not like things that are super obvious, right? But like little bits, a joke, a piece of art on the wall, right?
That's what I was gonna say. You said he had
What?
CP on his wall.
Yeah,
That's
like
a pretty hefty sign.
right? Little things like that. A little tweet that ends in JK, right? Like just little things like that end up. And yeah, man, dude, listen, hindsight's 2020, right? It's easy to look back and go, oh yeah, boom, 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 right? And just point out all the things leading up to, right, that pattern of behavior or whatever. 100%. I mean, it always is, right? 2020 is always gonna be borderline perfect, just about, right? It's easy.
'Cause you have all the answers.
Yeah, but that doesn't absolve us from being vigilant in the now, right? In the present, in terms of you know paying attention and really kind of putting eyes on things that you might tilt your head to, right? So
Yeah.
that's it. Eric hasn't said anything. I think he fell asleep. everybody. So I apologize that
It's old man time for Eric.
yeah, Gandalf the Grey has
gotta take his-
probably taken a nap right now. And by his absence, I'm probably right. He probably went to eat
Oh
a
my
sandwich.
God, is my mic unplugged? Really?
Oh,
Oh,
He's
my
been talking.
God.
I've contributed here and there, but somehow I guess I came unplugged. So
Oh,
yeah,
my
God,
great podcast. I
Lord.
enjoyed every conversation. I appreciate all of the feedback. It was great giving my own. Um,
Oh, my
I was
God.
impressed by how everyone received it. It was fun. It was good.
Oh,
It
my
was A
God.
plus, A plus, A plus, A
All
plus.
right. All right. So, hey, honestly, oh, my God.
Moving on.
Yeah. With that said, we've actually been going an hour now. So we're gonna keep it at that. We're gonna keep it at an hour. We're gonna be obviously looking at feedback. Don't talk any trash. I'll have to ban you. No, I'm joking. Constructive criticism is okay. I just might cry in the background. But yeah, we'll keep it an hour. If you guys would like for us to go longer, please let me know ahead of time because I have a life and it's busy, and recording is not easy as well as much as you might think it is. Also, if there's anything that people would like to hear us talk about or hear our takes on or hear us cover, you can always just leave a comment on the podcast, or if you're in our Discord, we have a text channel in our Discord called Lag with Docs. You can put it there. Yeah, I think that's it. But I hope everybody enjoyed. We got a little aggressive in some of the topics. We talked about some cool stuff, the gaming and life. And we talked about something that we're all kind of passionate about. We're passionate about protecting kids. We're passionate about creating a space.
Everyone should be passionate about protecting kids. If you're not, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's just plain and simple.
We're passionate about.
It's plain and simple, but it's
Right. Passionate about creating a space and maintaining an environment that is encouraging and uplifting, and and protecting that, right, and making sure that we aggressively address things that threaten it, right, because it seems like there's not a lot of people who want to or have the balls to do it, and these four gentlemen here, we are definitely not a part of those people who are scared to. So
No way.
you definitely have us on your side. I'll also end each podcast how I end each stream, and these guys here know it. But I always end anything I ever do in terms of interacting with people, whether it's streaming or this podcast. I'll end it with the three things, and those three things are for you: that you have value and worth, that you are loved, and that you are never alone in anything that you do. Make sure you spread some love and positivity. Most importantly, tell somebody you love them, because you never know what happens tomorrow. Tell somebody you love them, and stay amazing, stay beautiful, stay awesome. And we hope to see you for episode 2, baby. Until then, we're out of here, man.
Bye.
Toodles.